A line in a movie helped save my life. I was in my late teens and I was going through a really hard time where I was experiencing immense emotional pain constantly. It would get so bad that at times I felt like I couldn't move. And I was crying myself to sleep every night. It was a really, really challenging time. And I've been through stuff like that at other points in my life. For example, the death of people close to me. But in those other times, I've always known there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But this time, in my late teens, what made it so hard was I was convinced there was no light at the end of the tunnel. And then I watched this movie called Castaway. It has Tom Hanks in it, and in the movie, by a stroke of bad luck, Tom Hanks gets stranded on an island, and then by a stroke of good luck, Tom Hanks gets off the island because stuff washes up onto the island that he can use to escape the island. And then he gets back to civilization, and by a stroke of bad luck, his wife has moved on, or his fiance, or whoever, his love interest has, is with another man. And Tom Hanks is engaged in this monologue near the end of the film, and he says, the same way that the tide brought him good things he didn't expect, the materials he used to get off of the island, maybe the metaphorical tides of life will bring in something that will give his life more meaning or purpose or joy. And it made me realize, the randomness of life gives us our hardships, but it also is the deepest protection against losing hope. Because the same way you can have something horrible happen to you that you could never even imagine, you could have something wonderful happen to you that you could never even imagine. And I got through that period, but I got through that period by like the skin of my teeth. And I'm convinced that if you took away any of the things that helped me through that time, I wouldn't have gotten through it. And that was one of those things. And what makes me so sad is if the person who wrote that line of dialogue were growing up now, if they were in like middle school or high school or college now, I could see them not going into that career, not going into the arts, because the arts was already kind of a crapshoot. And now with generative AI, it's like, well, will I be able to get a job? And it just makes me wonder, what life-saving thing, poem or movie or what, is not going to be made now because the person who would have made it decided, AI is taking that job.